Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Pastor Steve, thank you for joining me. I hope you had a good day celebrating Memorial Day yesterday. And I've been asking you for several days to, help me figure out what I was going to cook and share with me what you were going to cook. And so if you want to know what I actually did on Memorial Day, I want you to go to my Instagram account because the pictures will be there. So check it out on Instagram. And then in the comments on Instagram, you can let me know what you actually grilled or cooked or what you did to celebrate Memorial Day. Look forward to hearing from each of you. So visit my Instagram account. The address is there on the screen, and follow. I'd love to have you follow me if you're not already following me on Instagram. All right, today in our devotion, we're in the book of Acts, chapter 17, continuing Paul and Silas and Luke's missionary journey, what normally is referred to as his second missionary journey. And when I was reading this, the part of it that grabbed my heart is Paul's experience in Athens, in Greece, and particularly his sermon on Mars Hill, or as it's referred to quite often, and it's the idea that there are some people who are going to reject the Word of God, reject the gospel, reject the truth, reject the Bible, no matter what you do or say. No matter how you say it, no matter how much you love them, some people are going to refuse to believe. Paul is in Athens. He's at Mars Hill. That's the Roman name for it. The Greek is the Areopagus, and it's really a rock outcropping on a small hill that in the early days was where some of the courts were held, and by Paul's day it became a very well-known place of public gathering where there were idols and philosophers and debates and a marketplace and all of that. And Paul preaches this sermon, and I have to be honest, the sermon that's recorded in the book of Acts here, starting at verse 22, is my favorite of Paul's sermons. It is so beautiful. It's so rich in theology, rich in philosophy, and when you really think about what he's saying here, it's just so much good stuff. And they are all listening. They're intrigued. And then near the end of what is recorded as his sermon, he mentions that Jesus was raised from the dead. And in verse 32, when they heard of the resurrection of the dead, some, not all, we don't know if it was a lot or just a few, but some began to sneer. Some began to sneer. But others said, "We shall hear you again concerning this." Verse 33, so Paul went out of their midst. He left that area, not Athens, but just that area where he had preached. And in verse 34, some of the men joined him and believed. So you had three reactions to Paul's sermon. Some believed, some were interested and said, "We want to hear more," and then some sneered, particularly when he got to the resurrection of Jesus. I remember several years ago, one Easter Sunday here at First Baptist, I preached a sermon on the resurrection of the dead, our future resurrection, and went into great detail about what that day will be like and what our resurrected body will be like. And I remember there was a young man, late teens, I had never seen before, sitting down front. He had this interesting look on his face the whole time I was preaching. Later that week, I was speaking to the person who had invited him. He was a guest. A non-believer, a guest. And our member who had invited him told me that what this young man said to her after that sermon was, referring to me, okay, who had done the preaching, referring to me, he said, "If he really believes all that, he's crazy." If he, in other words, if I really believe everything I said about our resurrected body in the future. And when I was reading the reaction of those who sneered to Paul talking about the resurrection of Jesus, I remembered that story. And here's the thing. You and I talk about Jesus. We invite people to church. We witness to people, pray for people, serve people, love people. We can't control how people react. Some people are going to sneer no matter what you do. There will be some who will never, ever believe, and there's nothing you can do about it. There will be some who will be interested and they'll want to hear more and they'll seek, and some of them will end up believing and some of them will end up not believing. And then there will always be those who believe quickly. What you and I are to do is keep clearly and boldly speaking the name Jesus, clearly and boldly inviting people to church, clearly and boldly talk about what God is doing in our lives and God is doing in the church, clearly and boldly sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ, doing it with tenderness and kindness and gentleness, doing it in faith, doing it in love, but knowing that some are going to sneer because no matter what you do, they will never believe in God, they will never believe in Jesus, they will never believe in the resurrection, and that's sad, but that's real. Don't let that defeat you. Focus on the fact that some will believe because God is at work, brothers and sisters. Hey, God bless you. Look forward to being with you tomorrow. Hey, remember, check out my Instagram account. Look at what I cooked and let me know what you cooked. God bless you.